Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Where the state motto is live free or die. It is not big government or bust. Here it is, Tuesday morning, Tuesday, November the 1st in the year of our Lord 2016. Wait, what? It's November already? Well, all I can say is thank God. Yeah, I know this is my job, but folks, I got to tell you, this year I am going to be so happy when Wednesday the 9th gets here. The Wednesday after Election Day. This year it's got a lot of people worn out. And it not because of the lack of excitement, but frankly, I think we've got this is the worst year I have ever seen the media. I mean, I'm not even sure. Even if Donald Trump wins right now, I'm not even sure if we can really, at this juncture with the current generations alive, I'm not sure we can save the country. Look, you've got, just looking at the stories that we have and how the media, the mainstream media is reporting this stuff, how is it possible for anybody to defeat such a willing propaganda machine? I mean, it's unbelievable. No matter what is brought to light about Hillary Clinton, you want to talk about circling the wagons and circling the ships and trying to force the Republicans into a circular firing squad. It doesn't matter what this woman has done. I mean, that's the scary part. Folks, let me just remind you of a little bit of a historical data, shall we? You know, we know that Adolf Hitler, and no, I'm not comparing evilness with Hillary Clinton and Adolf Hitler. I don't think, well, Hillary might like to gas all of us conservatives, but I don't think she would ever try to wipe out an entire ethnic group of people. But let's just have some comparison, shall we? I mean, the German people thought and were allowed themselves to be taken aback by the propaganda of the Hitler propaganda machine. And they went ahead and they said, yes, it was Hitler was right. It was the Jews' fault, and the Jews this and the Jews that. And Hitler is, doesn't matter how bad he is or how evil he is. We know he's done some terrible things, but he's the only one that's going to lead us to glory. Well, this is the same thing that's happening with the Democrats. We know that Clinton is a criminal. Everybody else that has done what she has been accused of doing has gone on trial, and most of them have gone to jail. Let's face it. Martha Stewart lied to the FBI one time. That's what she was convicted of. One time. And how long? She went to jail for a year or more, right? It was a little over a year. She went to jail for lying one time. How many times is Hillary Clinton accused of lying not only to the FBI, but to Congress? Yeah, did you know lying to Congress is a crime? It is. It's a crime. I don't, but it doesn't matter what Donald Trump said, I could probably shoot somebody out in the middle of Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose hardly any support. I think it's the other way around. I think Hillary Clinton is the one that could do all kinds of dastardly deeds out in the open. And the lamestream media and her diehard supporters would circle the wagons and somehow find a way to blame the Republicans for it. Yeah, now we hear that the vast right-wing conspiracy is back and operational because of the emails that the FBI found on Uma Abedin's laptop computer. Now, her husband, granted soon to be ex-husband, but her husband was the one that's been caught sexting underage girls, and so they were investigating, and somehow, because her husband, who's a Democrat, who's a shamed Democrat, forced out of office because he's a jerk, he's a bully, he's a pervert, he gets forced out of office early, and somehow, because he's sexting a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old girl, it's the vast right-wing conspiracy's fault. And the press goes along with this. The media goes along. Oh yeah, it's a vast right-wing conspiracy. The vast right-wing conspiracy did not send those sexting messages to that 15-year-old girl. The vast right-wing conspiracy didn't put the emails on Uma Abedin's computer. How the hell is it the vast right-wing conspiracy's problem or fault that they're the ones that were the criminals? I'm still scratching my head, and people are still on Facebook and Twitter, and they're defending her, and I'm trying to think, wait a minute. You are chastising and hating on Donald Trump because of a locker room conversation he had 11 years ago. And every time we turn around, we have something just as bad, if not worse, come out on the Clinton side, and somehow it's Donald Trump's fault? Donald Trump didn't sext any 16-year-old. Donald Trump didn't attempt to rape anybody. Donald Trump didn't pay off anybody to shut them up about rape charges. Donald Trump didn't run around talking about the bimbo eruption and trying to get all these women quieted down. That wasn't Donald Trump at all. That was the Clintons. But somehow everything that the Clintons have done, that we know that they have done, that even the left knows that they have done, somehow that's the vast right-wing conspiracy conspiring against the Clintons. And we got people buying this bullshit. You got to be kidding me. So that is the main reason why I am just fed up and tired with this election season, because it doesn't really matter what the truth is anymore. It doesn't matter. I mean, it may matter to you and me, but to far too many, nearly half the population of this country, it obviously doesn't matter anymore. That's the scary part. When you've got half the population that does not care about the truth, They only want what they want, whatever that want is. I'm not even sure half the country knows what they want. But they seem to buy the notion that, oh, yeah, Hillary's the one. Hillary's the one. It's her turn. Hillary's the one. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm convinced now that Hillary's the one that could walk out in the middle of Fifth Avenue in front of Trump Tower and shoot a bunch of people and not lose a single vote. I'm convinced of that now. I'm looking at her poll numbers. You know, it doesn't matter who they are. If they're conservative numbers, if they're quasi inside the campaign poll numbers, if they're national poll numbers, state by state. Look, they still have her up by 6 in Virginia, for crying out loud. I mean, are you kidding me? There's Donna Brazile gets fired for why? For helping Hillary cheat. Oh, she doesn't lose any support. The emails get, you know, the whole email investigation gets revamped. Why? Because we found out that Hillary lied again. She doesn't lose any support. And she's got obvious health problems. She probably isn't going to live the entire 4 years, which means we're probably electing Tim Kaine as president. God help us. She doesn't lose any support. Somebody please tell me what it is going to take. What do you think it is going to take for at least a good significant portion of that half of the country that is still supporting her to stop supporting her? What's it going to take? Does anybody know? I don't know what it is at this point. I really don't. 603-835-3226 is the call-in number here at the Rod Eccles Show. Again, that's 603-835-3226. Now, I don't want to sound like I'm defeated, because I think Donald Trump can still win. Yeah, absolutely. I am just flabbergasted by maybe the lamestream media has done their job so well that they're even hiding it because I'm usually pretty good at seeing through the veil of the lamestream media. But I'm just finding it very hard to see how she's lost any support because it doesn't look like she has. And I don't care who you're looking at. If you're looking at liberal outlets, if you're looking at middle of the road outlets, if you're looking at conservative leaning outlets, they all seem to be coming up with the same answer that Hillary and Donald are neck and neck, and they have been for quite some time. And no matter what comes out against Hillary, I know some people on the left are saying the same thing about Donald Trump, but I mean, you know what, really? The stuff that they've got against Donald Trump, we already know that most of it is a lie, or it's fabricated, or it's just half-truths. So it's not the same as what we got on Hillary. And whatever they complain about Donald Trump, we already know the Clintons have either are already in the middle of doing it or have done it themselves. So they've got nothing on Donald. Really, they really have nothing. But so it's not the same thing. But it doesn't matter what. Trump hasn't broken any laws that we know of. Trump hasn't lied to Congress and hasn't lied to the FBI. He's not been caught in lie after lie after lie under oath. This woman has. So for her to still be garnering, you know, a 47% of the vote or 45% of the potential vote, you know, in these polls, is just mind-boggling to me. Whatever happened to the so-called sense of fairness and fair play? I mean, that's all the left always talks about. Everything's going to be fair, man. It's going to be fair. Well, it's not fair that you have a candidate that steals the election. It steals the primary from another candidate, Bernie Sanders. It's not fair that we see all of this voter fraud going on in favor of Hillary Clinton right now. We know what's going on. We've seen people videotaping it. And I know some states are going to say that, well, we're going to crack down because it's illegal. Oh, bullshit, it's illegal. You take a picture of your ballot. I dare you to try to arrest me. I'm going to bop somebody upside their head. I don't care if it's a cop or not who's trying to arrest me to do something that I have perfect right to do. I mean, Supreme Courts all over the country have said, yeah, the people's got a right to take a picture of their ballot if they want to. But these states, these idiots, these a-holes are still trying to, in these other states, are still trying to enforce an unconstitutional law, and they know it's unconstitutional. So you go right ahead and try to arrest me for an I will citizens arrest each and every one of you freaking idiots. Don't even test me on that. You can guarantee it. I will take the handcuffs and I will put them on you. I am sick and tired that I'm the one that has to go to court to defend my constitutional rights because some a-hole decides they want to test the system. So we know that these idiots are out there perpetrating a fraud on the American people, just so they get their way. And yet, she still has 45, 47% support. I'm flabbergasted. I mean, that's the best word. When was the last time you ever heard somebody use the word flabbergasted? I bet you most millennials probably never even heard of it, let alone know what that word means. Maybe we should do a word of the day every day just to help millennials catch up to the rest of us. Look, don't Google it. Do not Google it. I'm telling you right now, stop Googling everything. You got to Bing or Yahoo it. I know they're probably not as good as good. Well, Google isn't any good anymore because Google is just I mean, I mentioned it yesterday about how I Googled climate change, fake climate change. Climate change is fake news. The first 3 pages was all pro climate change when I Googled it. Google. Look, wait. I am searching for fake climate change. And what do I get is first 3 pages full of pro climate change. Yeah, no. I've decided I don't use Google anymore. So it's Bing, it's Ask, it's Yahoo, and I know Yahoo really sucks, but so none of those other systems, alternative search engines seem to be so obviously and blatantly biased. Seriously. So if you're going to Google something that's pro-Trump, you're probably not going to find much on the first 3 pages because their algorithms are built to be pro-Hillary. And you saw it yesterday. You know it from yesterday that, Eric Schmidt, the CEO of Google and Alphabet, he's in the tank for Hillary big time. Just as the CEOs of Facebook and Twitter are in the tank for Hillary big time. This is just disgusting. It really is. We'll be back. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
That is, I actually take some of my, I have recorded some of my bumper, well, it's not recorded, it's put on my little iPad Nano, and I'll play it sometimes when I'm traveling, when I'm driving and traveling, in the car, and through the back roads of Vermont and stuff. And this is one of those songs that just sort of flows very well while you're going up and down the Green Mountains in Vermont. It just sort of fits the scene, if you will. It's a very comfortable song. It puts you in a nice mood. So whenever I get grumpy, this is one of the songs that, actually, it's kind of interesting. You get bumper music. I swear to God, I'm going to do a bumper. I'm going to do a bumper music CD for all you wonderful people out there. Because some of you have already said that you really like the bumper music. I know I do. Can't help it. Well, of course I'd like it. I'm the one who picked it and chose it and helped develop it and all that kind of stuff. So, of course, I'm going to like the bumper music. Anyway, 603-835-3226 is the number. Speaking of bumper music, don't forget that if you're a musician out there, or even a wannabe musician, we are looking for, again this year, original Christmas music from all of you out there. If you'd like to have it played during the holiday season, we'll be playing, and you'll get proper credit, as well as having your website and all that kind of stuff mentioned before and after each of one of your songs that are played. And if you want to be considered, all you got to do is just send off an MP3 recording of your original music. I mean, I suppose it could be a cover of an old standard, too. but nothing from the new pile. You know, if Mariah Carey or somebody originally did the song, I'm not going to play it. But if it's a cover of an old song, you know, White Christmas or something, yeah, that we're safe to be able to do that. So send it off to the Rod Eccles Show at gmail.com. MP3 only, please. I suppose I could do MP4, but MP3 is obviously more prevalent and easier. So you can do one song. You can have a whole album or CD of songs. It doesn't matter, but they must be original yours, plain and simple. They can't be somebody else's. Can't play somebody else's. And it has to be Christmas stuff, Christmas songs.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
Social media, you're missing out on an awful lot. You really are. Because it's an extent. Social media is an extension of this program that goes beyond the original 3 hours every day. Well, except for Sundays. Sometimes I'll get on social media on Saturdays, but Sundays I'm usually pretty dark on social media, even personally. Just ask people who follow me, yeah, Rod's pretty dark on. He goes dark on Sunday, but you need a day of rest, right? But most of the rest of the week, past the 3 hours of the program, you get to see a lot of stuff of what I'm thinking, what I'm sharing, what I'm, getting from other people. I get a lot of stuff from y'all out there, so keep it coming. And it's good because we're all interconnected and we can share this type of stuff. So if you want to participate, it's easy to do. Just follow me on social media. It could be, Facebook. There's Facebook. There's Twitter. There's LinkedIn. There's Pinterest. There's Google+, and there's Instagram. And all of them, except for Instagram, I can easily be found by just typing in the search column Rod Eccles. Now, for Facebook, it's the Rod Eccles Show, and it's Rod Eccles Speaker. And yes, for my book, it's Rod Eccles Author. See how easy that is? Everything else is Rod Eccles. Maybe I should make it more difficult for people to find me. I don't know. Maybe that's what I need to do, because then if I wasn't so easy to find, then I guess more people would be more interested in it. In any case, it is the phone number to call here is 603-835-3226. At the top of the hour, we are expecting, hopefully we'll be able to get through to him. We're expecting Congressman Frank Genta, Republican out of New Hampshire, House of Representatives. He represents the state of New Hampshire in the House of Representatives in D.C., a true conservative-leaning congressman out of and a fiscal shark. Yeah, he's a fiscal hawk. I really like my representative Frank Genta because I'm not so enamored by Carol Shea Porter. No, not Porter. Is it? No, it's Annie Custer. Who the? I don't know. Annie Custer is not. Yeah, she's the other current. Do you realize that this is Frank Genta is now in the minority? Because Carol Shea Porter is running against, I do believe, Frank Genta. We could be an all-female body. Because right now we have 2 female congressmen, or senators, and a female congressman, and 1 male congressman. And it could be, and it's going to stay that way, 2 female senators, because we have Maggie Hassan, the current governor, is running against Maggie Hassan is running up against Kelly Ayotte. Jeez, I almost forgot her name. So we got there's that. So it's I don't, well, I guess it is what it is, but we have all those wonderful people running, and most of them are females. And you would think that the ladies would be better at this, right? Not necessarily. Well, you got Democrat. Well, look, you got Hillary Clinton out there who's a female, and she's not better. So gender doesn't do it. Gender is not the case for, gender is just not going to do it. And you're not going to be able to change my mind on that simply because gender is there. It doesn't make a difference whether you're male or female about how good you are at doing your job. When it comes to certain aspects, men are better than women at some jobs, and women are better than men at some jobs. That's just biologically factual. But when it comes to stuff that is running a country, I don't think you can honestly say and show me proof that one gender, sex, is better than the other at doing it. And we know that we have a few homosexuals out there that they don't seem to be doing any better either. And that goes for the men and, the gay man or the lesbian woman. They don't seem to be doing a better job than the straight people. So, there you have it. Let's see if we can get to the paper pile here. We didn't get to too much of it yesterday, unfortunately. Well, it was a very large stack of the paper pile. Today is not as large as yesterday, but it's still... I don't like to try to carry over stuff from day because there's too much new stuff. 21 hours is a long time in the world of politics and pop culture and current events. And there's just always so much stuff happening. And for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rhea Linda, 21 hours is the time that it takes to go from the end of one show to the beginning of a new one. It's just less than a day. You realize that? I know some people say, well, no, it's got to be a day apart. Well, no, we're a 3-hour program. There's 24 hours in a day, so you take away 24 minus 3 is what? 21. There you go. I know. Some of you are not used to old-fashioned math. Some of you are used to new math, but I don't do new math. I do the old-fashioned math because old-fashioned math is accurate and it's correct. Just to put it in perspective. Hey, Carvel, the Raging Cajun. He's out there talking smack again. The Raging Cajun has lost his mind. Politizet. By the way, before I get into that, I have a friend who's a state trooper here. I got a couple of friends who are state troopers here in New Hampshire, but I have a friend. One of my state trooper friends told me about the Halloween weekend and how it was one of the safer Halloween weekends on the road, and he thinks it's due to Uber. So all of you people who did not drink and drive, you took a taxi, had a designated driver, or you utilized Uber or Lyft or one of the other ride-sharing services, thank you, because you probably saved more than one child's life this past weekend. Thank you for doing the smart, wise, and reasonable thing by not drinking and driving. No, people need to be thanked for that. They don't get enough credit when they do something smart. And not drinking and driving, especially on a Halloween weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you most definitely save some lives out there and some serious injury. And I personally want to thank you for doing that, for being out there, for understanding that it's just not worth it. You can't. I know there's still some people out. Some people still did it, and most probably made it to their destination safe without any injury to themselves or somebody else. But why risk it? Why risk it? It's not worth it. And I'm not talking about getting caught and arrested for DWI. It's just not worth the potential damage, heartache, and family devastation that you could cause. Just, throughout the holiday season, please be mindful of that. You have so many alternative ways of getting around today that you do not need to be behind the wheel if you've had a drink or 2 or 5. Just don't do it, folks. I'm going to hammer this all holiday season long. So I know some of you are going to get tired of it, but this needs to be said. We need too many innocent people's lives are changed forever because one person who's had too much to drink has gotten behind the wheel when they didn't need to. There's no need for it anymore. It is not like days of old where you might have to wait an hour or 2 hours for a taxi. It's just too easy for alternative transportation today. You just don't need to drink and drive, period. All right. Now I'm stepping down off that soapbox and climbing up on another one. Polizette has got some information here on James Carville. Yeah, Operation Cajun now and there. Hey, he's coming around talking about Clinton, and he's talking about Trump. And he's melting down, talking about his search FBI and GOP and KGB. Hey, they in cahoots. That's right. Carville says that the FBI, the GOP, and the KGB are in. Is that the? Well, the KGB isn't right wing, so it can't be a vast right wing conspiracy if the KGB is involved. Well, I guess he's not calling it a conspiracy. It's a cahoots. There's another word you millennials probably have never heard of or don't use very often: cahoots. Democratic strategist calls reopened Clinton probe an attack on American democracy in a recent MSNBC MS mess tantrum. Famed Democratic strategist James Carville may be the first Clinton surrogate to have officially lost his mind over the FBI's decision to reopen its investigation into Clinton's private email server. Now, in an appearance on MS Mess NBC on Monday, Carville, by the way, I'm the one that says MS Mess NBC. It's not, they don't write it down anywhere. I haven't seen it written anywhere. In fact, there's only one other person I've ever heard say, use MS Mess or MSNBC Mess or anything like that, and that would have been Rush Limbaugh. But I haven't heard anybody else say it. Yeah, I hear everybody calling the CNN the Clinton News Network, but I don't hear anybody taking on MSNBC. I call it MS Mess NBC because they're a mess over there. In an appearance on MS Mess NBC on Monday, Carville relentlessly and repeatedly attacked the FBI's decision to reopen the investigation, asserting it as part of a conspiracy to subvert American democracy. So now we got that vast right-wing conspiracy over there. That's against Clinton. They've been against the Clintons ever since the 90s. And now I got KGB coming in. And they're not right-wing. They're left-wing, like us. But they're in cahoots to take down democracy. So everybody is at fault except the Clintons, at least according to James Carville. The Democrats can't be responsible for a damn thing. No. Everybody's in cahoots and in a vast conspiracy against the Clintons and against democracy. How in the hell is it that the Republicans are against democracy when it's the Clintons and the Democrats out there cheating? I'm just asking that question, folks. I just want to know how it is that they're the ones that are out there trying to well, they're the ones out there trying to keep that democracy from forming out there when they're the ones out there cheating. Quickly, let's take a quick call. 850, you're live on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got? Yeah, he's I love trying to imitate him because he's hilarious at times, but But I don't know where they get this stuff from. Carville's not a dumb guy.
Shine it up and stick it in the media like you're talking about, MSNBC, and you got a shiny little penny.
Yeah, well, that's you know, I got to tell you, I never heard it put that way, especially with the Clintons smelling that way. That's kind of
well, no, that's in John Podesta's email. I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, you know, I've had those people after me. And it's not pretty. But the best thing in the world is when I saw Bill Clinton's face at the second debate and that look of fright. Because, see, I've had people come up and invade my space and try to do me bodily harm. And you could never make me look like he looked. I will cherish that look to the day I die. That rabbit. That look he had.
He definitely,
a puke. And, you know, they paint him up to be a bad man and a sexual stud. I mean, everything about him is so far from the truth, it's worse than Hollywood.
Well, you can't make that stuff up, really. But all that's, I think this could be a. Who knows? Maybe this is where they're getting.
Rod, I used to call the Clinton White House during the first term all the time and tell them what an asshole Bill Clinton was, and I would do it over and over and over again. You know, Secret Service knows I'm not lying.
Well, maybe that's where they get House of Cards from. They get a lot of their.
Well, who knows what happens? But I'll tell you this: whatever it is, it's not good.
Well, no, it's not, but a lot of people still follow them, whatever.
Yeah, I can remember talking to a Valley girl who just blew her mind about telling her what an asshole and a piece of shit Bill Clinton was.
Well, yeah,
and I would call once or twice a week in the first term and tell him that. Well, you know, because you know I'll tell you. Here's another one. The University of Alabama in Birmingham, their neurology department was renamed after Dr. Whitaker. Well, Dr. Whitaker's mother was killed in an auto accident with my mother-in-law the day after Waco. And I want all those people out there that have trained, you know, on a certain road in Mississippi, you know, Horn Lake. You know, one of their favorite training centers. Well, just down the road, my mother-in-law was whacked in a car, and so was Dr. Whitaker's mother, and along with, you know, Miss Redmond and everything. And these ladies were from Arkansas. Well, you know, my mother-in-law's husband had been way up in the Central Intelligence Agency. So anyway, the day after Waco, they spun off enough operators to whack her on Horn Lake Road in a car. Now, Dr. Whitaker himself was run over as he ran his bicycle down the road because he could make him, you know, this wonderful man with so much education and knowledge and debilitating diseases of the brain. They whacked him just to keep him shut up. That's the way these people are. So, after they did that, I'd call the White House and tell them what an asshole Bill Clinton was.
Well, there's a lot of.
There's a lot of people got to stand up now. There's a lot of people saying nobody did nothing. Like Milo said, well, nobody did nothing in the 90s. No, nobody would get up off their ass in the 90s.
Well, they have a trail of dead bodies. And
Milo is a hunk of shit, just like the rest of them.
Yeah, well, that's
a
different.
And that's the way it is,
Well, I got to run. I'm on up against a hard break.
I'm glad you had my call today. Thank you, brother.
Thanks. We'll be right back, folks.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
There's a lot of people out there that believe that the Clintons have left a long list of bodies behind them. I for one, happen to kind of agree. I mean, the Clintons they're not nice people. They never have been nice people. And Bill Clinton has been extremely predatory when it comes to women. But hey, that's only Donald Trump that does that, not Bill. But well, maybe Bill did it, but he was nicer about it than Donald. He didn't have locker room talk that was probably illegally recorded. So that's the difference, I think, right? Clinton did it in private, and Trump was supposed to be in private, but wasn't. And that's where the difference comes in, I suppose. I don't know. It just kind of turns your stomach, doesn't it? It turns mine.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Welcome back. 603-835-3226 is the number to call should you wish to be a part of the Rod Eccles Show. I am, of course, your lovable host, L. Rod, the Rod of Truth, the Truth Hammer, as it were, here on this Tuesday morning, Tuesday, November the 1st, the year of our Lord 2016, as I broadcast from the bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. And yes, as I do almost every day, I checked. And it hasn't changed. Well, it hasn't. It's still live free or die. I know that the motto hasn't changed, but there's a lot of stupid laws that we have on the books here in New Hampshire now that would probably, that one could argue that may not be so accurate. In fact, if you want to live free or die, then you probably need to move to Alaska. That would be how many New Englanders pronounce Alaska. Well, it would. You know, they always put R's in places where they don't belong, and they don't put R's where they do belong, like in Ka and Pak and Godden. I'll never understand the New England accent. I never, as long as I live here. It's my adopted home area, but I just don't understand the accent. I mean, you got Arrier and Linder, but you have Pak and the Ka. Oh, and they don't have driveways around here. They're called dooryards. Yeah, dooryard. Yeah. To this day, it took me a long time to figure out what the hell when somebody said dooryard, what they were talking about. What is a dooryard? Driveway is what a door. So now that you know, when somebody says It's out in the dooryard, that they're talking about, the driveway. Yeah, the car's parked out in the dooryard. What's a dooryard? No, that's what it is, driveway. There's probably a book out there that gives you the acronyms for the different accents in different regions of the country. But, well, it's kind of unique. New England is kind of unique when it comes to that kind of stuff, by the way. Really is. In any event, got in the paper pile here is hopefully we'll get to speak to Congressman Genta shortly. But in the meantime, we have this thing called an investigation that has been reopened by the FBI. And it's from Podesta. It's about Podesta. Podesta's BFF appears to be in charge, or going to be in charge, or has something to do with the wonderful investigation. Yes, John Podesta's BFF, his best friend at the DOJ, Department of Justice, will be in charge of the DOJ's probe into Huma Abedin emails. This is from ZeroHedge.com. Breaking AP via Zero Hedge, Justice Department says it'll dedicate all needed resources to quickly review emails in Clinton case now that the FBI has obtained the needed warrant to start poring over the 650,000 or so emails uncovered. And can I ask, where do all these, how are these emails? Look, if somebody were to investigate my laptop, I don't have 600,000 emails stuck on them. I'm not, I don't fully understand how the whole email saving thing works. Because I know that there aren't 600. I don't have all my emails. How do you save them? Is this due to what's it called? Outlook? Is this due to Outlook? Is everything saved on Outlook? Because I don't utilize Outlook on my laptop. I mean, it's there, but I don't use it. Do I need to go through? I mean, in this day and age, when everybody knows that they're being watched or can be watched and have stuff hacked and is being hacked, how is it that people just don't know how to really deal with this stuff? I don't know. I don't know how people just don't know. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have Congressman Genta on the line. Is that you, Congressman?
It is, Rod. How are you, sir?
Good morning. Good to hear you. Hear your voice again. How are you?
I'm doing very well. It's great to be back on.
Yeah. Now, you are locked in a battle for your seat again. Now, who's your opponent this time around?
We have Congressman Carol Shea Porter, who has been running since 2006, and then we have a new entrant, Sean O'Connor, who is running currently as an independent, but was on the ballot in the Democratic primary process as a Democrat for the better part of the last year. And he identified himself as the true progressive in the race who endorsed Bernie Sanders. But he was unfairly treated by the leadership of the Democratic Party, so he decided to leave that primary and run as an independent in the general. So, he's fighting for votes. Carol Shea Porter and he are fighting for the far left votes on election day.
Well, so it's the National Democrat stealing the election type of thing is happening even on a local level, huh?
It's unbelievable, how he was treated. I mean, he was not embraced by the local New Hampshire Democratic Party leadership. And they really, sort of, as he really puts it, pushed him out of that primary. Then when he got the requisite votes to get on the general election ballot, the New Hampshire Democratic Party challenged his ability to be on the ballot through the Ballot Law Commission. They lost, they appealed, they lost again. So, they really did not want him to be running in the primary or the general. And I think it's frustrated the leadership in the Democratic Party, and I think it's frustrated Carol Shea Porter. What I've done is I've invited him to the debate process because I think he has, he deserves to have his voice and his message heard by the people of the state of New Hampshire, and who are going to make this decision. Now, Carol Shea Porter doesn't like it because he was an early endorser of Bernie Sanders. He will be taking progressive votes away from Carol Shea Porter. I think there are a lot of Democrats that are frustrated with her and tired of her running since 2006, and they want a different perspective representing them. Now, there are Democrats who will be supporting me as well. The more fiscally conservative Democrats in places, like Laconia and Rochester and Manchester, who like what I've done on the heroin and opioid addiction issues, like the fact that I'm about reducing taxes and giving local control back to families. That those are the same Democrats that supported me to become mayor, twice of the state's largest city.
And, again, we see this in action, how those of us on the right, we're inviting all voices to be heard. We're not trying to shut anybody up, but it's the left that tries to shut even part of their own voice up, which is really incredible.
Rod, it is. It's ironic. I mean, we're the party of inclusion, and we're the party of free speech, and I'm trying to allow this individual to participate, and he was getting blocked by Carol Shea Porter and by Democrats. As a matter of fact, Carol Shea Porter refused to participate in the WGIR radio debate because Sean O'Connor was part of it. And, I give WGIR credit for going on with the debate, and so I debated Mr. O'Connor. And again, I mean, he is that self-identified progressive who did support and endorse Bernie Sanders, and he's proud of that, and he communicates that. But, Ms. Shea Porter, refused to participate because he was participating. I don't understand, if you're running for, Congress to represent almost 700,000 people, why you wouldn't want to actually campaign and communicate to people what your message is. I suspect it's because she knows that it's out of touch and out of step with people in the 1st Congressional District.
Now, one of the things that is starting to hit New Hampshire families, and of course it's hitting families all across the country, but it's also hitting New Hampshire when you're talking about talking with the people and getting their support, is Obamacare is really hitting New Hampshire families hard because the costs are going up. Now, not as much as in some states. I think Arizona is 116% it's going to rise, so we're not in that category. But it's still pretty devastating.
It is devastating. Look, the Affordable Care Act is something that Carol Shea Porter supported and voted for. I do not support it. I don't think that it's patient-centered, and I don't think it's meeting the objectives that the president outlined, which originally was greater access and more affordability. We were supposed to save $2,500 a month. A year. It's costing families on average $4,500 more per year. The access has been reduced for individuals. People have lost their physician as a result of it. And then the president did announce last week that on average across the country, rates are going to increase 25% with a 28% reduction in providers. So, in carriers. So on top of that, Rod, people forget that the federal government spent $1 trillion in cultivating this program. So, I fail to see where the value is when the average in New Hampshire for a family of 4 on Obamacare is $1,200 per month. The median income is about $56,000. So you're talking almost 25% of your income is going to go toward health care. That is not by any objective measure affordable. As a matter of fact, people are foregoing health insurance as a result and paying the penalty, which is what this president wants, unfortunately. I want to see a market-based system where you bring more carriers to the state, erase state lines, create a better access to HSAs, create transparency so you can be in control of the price points of your own medical care, and that will drive costs down, and it will create greater competition for you, for your families, and for employer-based programs.
Well, I would love to see that the whole program just go away, period, because I think the choice has been taken away from the American people about their health care, and I think it needs to go away. I know one of the things that you're going to be facing is, well, you're already a minority, but you could be an even greater minority in D.C. from the state of New Hampshire, because from everything that I see that your colleague in the Senate, Kelly Ayotte, may not win re-election. So you'll not only be the only male member, but the only Republican member from the state of New Hampshire. Is that going to change how you represent us in any way?
Well, look, I've always felt that the people of the state need a proactive and thoughtful member of the delegation who's going to be fiscally conservative and responsible to the district and to the state. So, as you know, I voted against the omnibus. I voted against the budget. I voted against the Puerto Rico bailout. All the things that I think, our party, my party, made mistakes on. I was vocal and said, look, I'm not going to go along to get along. I don't think these policies are good for New Hampshire and good for the state, good for the country. I will continue to represent people in that fashion. The other interesting sort of legislative fact is while doing that, Rod, I was able to get 6 pieces of legislation signed into law. I got the President of the United States to actually agree that the Cadillac tax and the Affordable Care Act was a bad thing, and got him to, I wrote the repeal bill, and got him to sign in a 2-year deferral of that Cadillac tax. So there's more work to be done. But I think that's what New Hampshire is looking for, someone who's going to be responsible to the taxpayers and recognize that it's their money, not the government's money. So I'll continue to focus in that fashion, regardless of what our delegation looks like. I'd like to have more help, from not just our delegation, but around the country. But we'll see, what happens on Election Day.
Yeah, it's only a week away, and it looks like that you're in good shape. So that's good for you, and I'm glad to see that for sure. Definitely.
Well, we don't take anything for granted. We're working hard. We feel that representing the interests of working families and middle-class families by reducing, the tax burden, reducing government regulation, allowing people to be less reliant on the federal government. I think that's what people want. They want to see a growing economy. Rod, people have been hurting for 8 years. And, the average weekly wage has not changed in almost 8 years, yet the cost of living has certainly increased. So people are frustrated with this president, rightly so. They want people who are going to fight for them, and that's what I'll continue to do.
Hey, Congressman, I know you got to run, but I would be remiss if I did not ask you the Trump card question. Now we've got Trump and we've got Hillary, and we know that Senator Ayotte has hem and hawed on this issue. Are you firmly behind supporting Trump as president, or do you think that maybe he's not what we need?
No, I am supporting Mr. Trump. I was just with him in New Hampshire on Friday, and I think we have a binary choice between Mr. Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I understand that not everybody was a supporter of Mr. Trump on the Republican side, and I appreciate that some people, myself included, don't always like the way or the things that he communicates. That being said, when you look at the substantive issues, I know what we're going to get from Secretary Clinton, and I hear it from my friends within the Democratic Party that they're not happy and supportive of her nomination either. So when Mr. Trump came to New Hampshire on Friday, he had a roundtable on the heroin and opioid crisis where, Rod, he brought Republicans and Democrats in the room. I admire that in a candidate. When's the last time you saw a candidate bring together a bipartisan group to try to talk about the best way to solve the number one crisis in the state of New Hampshire? So I think it's important for people to know that he had Democrats in that room advising him on the best way to address this crisis because he was trying to bring different perspectives and people together. You know, I've done that as a mayor. I've done that as a member of Congress, as the chairman of that congressional task force. So, you know, to me, I think it's important for people to just focus on the policy issues and make that decision. Not to mention, you know, I think Secretary Clinton has a significant issue that just obviously came up on Friday that is giving people legitimate pause as to whether they want to vote for her or not.
That is true. The email scandal has been revived once again, and she's crying foul. But it's of her own doing. Well, Congressman, I thank you for your time. It is always wonderful to speak to you, and hopefully we'll be able to speak to you in about a week or so as being reelected to Congress from the state of New Hampshire.
Rod, I look forward to it, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Congressman. It's Congressman Frank Ginta from New Hampshire, folks.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
The day and time is getting closer. Yes, November the 12th. I know everybody's focusing on November the 8th. That's Election Day. But November the 12th, right after Election Day, I will be addressing the CFRW Northern Division at their fall conference in Sacramento, California, at the Sacramento Marriott, which is actually in Rancho Cordova, California, suburb of Sacramento, I do believe. And we'll be there November 12th. All the festivities start at around 5 p.m. You can get more information over yonder on Facebook at facebook.com/Rod Eccles Speaker. That'll give you all of the wonderful event details, should you wish to participate and partake of the festivities out there. I'm sure they're probably going to have some good wine, too. They better have some good wine. You know, for this newly minted wine snob, because it is near the valley, Napa Valley, so they should have some good wine out there. And but we will continue, so fear not, folks.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. Woo! There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please call or go online right now.
And welcome back. 603-835-3226 is the number. Should you wish to join me here live on the Rod Eccles Show. Glad you're out there in the listening verse, tuning in, listening, getting some information, hopefully being entertained. I've got something entertaining for you. Remember, I brought you the story last week about the birth control shot for men. Now, basically what it's supposed to do is supposed to basically make men shoot blanks. Well, that's the only way you're gonna. And this is a shot that they're supposed to be able to take, because evidently, women. Although I haven't run into any women that run around complaining that they're the ones that have to take a pill and men don't have to. I haven't heard that, but in any case, that is what that they were claiming that women were saying, and that we needed to have a birth control pill or shot for guys. And then they came up with one. Well, here's a story out of San Francisco's CBS local. Birth control shots for men prevent pregnancy but cause mood swings and depression. And the depression can be, well, I guess that's the whole point. Because I guess if you take this birth control shot, and if you're a man and you get depressed, you get too depressed to have sex. So I'm not making this stuff up, folks. You can't make this stuff up. Here it is, Dateline, Geneva, Switzerland. Birth control shots for men are an effective form of contraception, but side effects are a problem. And it's the side effects that keep men from wanting to have sex, and which is why hey, we all know that there's only one way that's 100% effective of not getting a woman pregnant. And that's just not having sex. Works every time it's tried. You cannot get pregnant if you go into doctors and get in vitro fertilization or something like that. But basically, a man and a woman, if they don't have sex, the woman isn't going to get pregnant. Works every single time. I know that there have been those really, really rare instances where, they didn't really have penetrative sex and it was just, somehow outside, whatever. And those are anecdotal. I don't think that's ever been proven, actually. So it's non-penetrative sex pregnancy. I don't think that's ever been proven as an actual fact. I don't know how that would happen. It would be, anyway. An internal study just found that they're almost as effective as the pill, the shot for men, almost. But the injections work by using hormones to drastically lower the sperm count. See, that's what I said. It works by causing the male to shoot blanks, basically. And men know what that means, shooting blanks. They know what that means. Of the 266 married men who participated in the study, only 4 became fathers. So, again, that's not 100% effective. Sounds promising, but the gender gap in contraceptive use may not be closed anytime soon. Pharmaceutical companies aren't throwing a whole lot behind the idea. Because let's face it, men have this issue. They don't want to be shooting blanks. It's a direct affront to to the male manhood. If they're shooting, you can't shoot blanks. Not to mention the lack of profitability, because men aren't going to be using it. Not to mention that those who are using it, evidently, are experiencing some rather significant side effects, including depression. And we here in the United States, we already have enough issues with depression. We don't need to add to the ranks of the depressed, of the medically depressed in this country. We really don't. And so I don't, and not to mention there's the regulatory hurdles, I guess, because it's not easy to stop 1,500 or so sperm that are produced per second, as opposed to one egg per. Really, we have produced 1,500 sperm per second? Is that how, I'm a male and I don't even fully understand how the male body works, to tell you the truth. That's pretty impressive, actually. But anyway, evidently the depression, the concerns of depression can be so severe that it prevents the male from wanting to do much of anything, including having sex. So there's how you further prevent pregnancy. You just make the men in your life depressed. Who comes up with this stuff, by the way? I really? Whatever happened to just being responsible and doing a little bit of family planning and timing? Look, it's about as effective as all these chemical contraceptions that are wreaking havoc on men and women's physical and mental health. Why can't we just be more responsible? I know it's easier not to be responsible and to rely on a pill or a drug or something, but it seems to me like you'd be a lot better off and a lot healthier if you were just personally responsible and did some planning. Well, I guess that takes the spontaneity out of things, because you can't go to a club and you can't use what is it, Tinder? You can't use Tinder to hook up then if you're trying to plan, I guess. But hey, I guess the only alternative is to get pregnant and have a kid. But then we just have abortion on demand up until near birth term, I suppose. We've just become a twisted society. How is it that we're so enlightened and we do such twisted things? We do such dark age things. Can I be honest for a second? Well, of course I can be honest. It's my show. But let's be frank here. Abortion is akin to the barbarity of the Dark Ages. We always talk about torture and all the things that they used to do during the so-called Dark Ages of man's history. Abortion is straight out of the Dark Ages, folks. It's just barbaric to do what we do to the unborn in this world today. There's no humanity. There's no enlightenment in that. It's just plain barbarism. It's barbaric to its core. I understand that there are on occasion, rare occasion, there are some severe and real medical reasons to end a pregnancy early, to terminate it. I understand there are medical reasons for it. But it is not a medical reason to end a pregnancy simply because it's inconvenient. That's not a medically induced reason. Sorry, it's not. And that's just barbaric to even consider and to allow such a thing. And because it reduces human life to nothing. Well, I know that's what liberals like to do. They like to reduce the value of human life to nothing. Because then they can do with it as they will. And if your life is worthless, then they can just they can act like the Clintons act towards people, not needing to really care, say anything, do anything to get elected, but not really needing to care. at all because they don't value life either. Well, they value their own, but that's about it. They don't value anybody else's life at all. And all you got to do is just look at how they act and react to people when they're around people. She doesn't give a rip about you or me. And she doesn't give a rip about you fellow Democrats. She really does. It's all about her. I don't even think Hillary Clinton really cares about Bill, to tell you the truth. But she's only got to pretend that she cares about him enough because it's in the public eye and it looks good. But there was a story in the paper I had in the paper pile last week. A story about how Hillary and Chelsea really don't talk. So if that's the case, then it seems like Hillary doesn't even really care about her own daughter. I know, but I've also heard the stories that Chelsea is a rather mini-me to Hillary, and she's a rather nasty individual too. I don't know if that's true or not. I haven't seen many stories on Chelsea. But the stories I have seen, there are people that back that up, saying that Chelsea is also a very nasty woman as well. And she is a woman. She's like 35 years old now. She's not a little kid anymore. And everybody still thinks that Chelsea is a little girl in the White House, but she's not. She's a mother. She's got 2 kids, right? She's a mother of 2, and she's 34, 35, 36 years old. She's a full-grown woman. And I understand that she's just as The applelet didn't fall far from the tree. Yeah, applelet is in female, apple male. Well, we're talking about that kind of stuff now, so why not? I know it does. It's not funny if I have to explain it. It's still funny to me. Newsmax is reporting the FBI's email review won't be completed by the election. Well, it's 650,000 emails, supposedly. So, of course, they're not going to, unless they're reading those emails 24/7 for the next 7 days. I wouldn't expect it to be completed. And this was done by design, by the way. It was not intended that they would be able to get through this entire investigation. Look, how long have they been investigating? How long has this Hillary Clinton investigation? It's been years, has it not? So do people really think it was going to end in a week or so, a week or two? Really? There are people out there that were that naive to think, oh, this is going to be it. They're going to come down and before the election, they're going to indict Hillary. Are you insane? This investigation's been going on for years now. When was the last, since 2012? So we've been going on over 4 years now with this thing, with Hillary Clinton in various stages and various, she's been under investigation basically for the last 4 or 5 years. So did you really honestly think that this was going to be the smoking gun that was going to bring her down in a week? No, I did not think so. And anybody with a brain that was actually using that brain would also have known that this is not. So this is really not anything new. It's not noteworthy or newsworthy, but here it is anyway. So the FBI's new email review won't be completed by Election Day, simply because there's 600,000 of them, I guess. I don't know how you get that many onto your on your computer. How do you leave those on your? Doesn't that bog down your computer somehow? I mean, these people seem to have computers that do they have a terabyte of disk space or something on their computers? Because it would seem to me that I don't have that kind of room. I'm not saving, a gig's worth or more of emails on my computers, and I don't have my own server either. Maybe that's it. You got to have your own. Did Uma have her own server? Maybe that's what you need. Is you need your own server in order to save all these emails. I am not a technophile, so I don't fully understand how all this stuff works. Because I don't understand how you can have 600,000 emails on your laptop. I don't see how that's how you do it. I'm not saying it's impossible because, computer technology has expanded and grown so much, so fast, and gone so far that a lot of these machines, they're incredible. I mean, do you realize that your stupid little smartphone is at least 10 times more powerful than the first desktop computers that we had back in the 80s. Remember the Apple II and the TSR or TRS, Tandy Radio Shack Model 3? Remember those things? And you had to have you truly had the floppy disk back then. Yeah. Your smartphone is more powerful than those things. So now you expand the size of your smartphone into the size of a tablet or a laptop, and you get a pretty powerful little device at your fingertips with a lot of memory and storage capacity. But I just don't get how you get 600,000 or 650,000 emails stored on your. Why would you keep them? I'm one of those people that goes. And I understand that a lot of times, if you're using an email server, this stuff doesn't really. When you delete it, it's really not deleted. It gets archived somewhere. But I keep my email accounts fairly clean. And I put things in special folders and things like so I can find them later if I really need to save them. But I don't keep stuff around. So I don't know why these people have. I know people who never delete anything off their email, and to me that's just insane. I don't understand how that works. I don't really understand how people keep that many, and how you can store that many on your laptop. I try to understand stuff like that, but maybe one day I will. I'll take a class in understanding computer technology.
You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stocking. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate chocolate to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
Six 603-835-3226. That would be the digits that you would have to dial, either in real time or virtual time, in order to get through to yours truly, me, here on the Rod Eccles Show. Yes, indeedy. Global trade is not rising, by the way, just so you know. Global trade is not rising whatsoever. Well, basically, what does that mean for you and me? Well, it means that in this globalization type of era, we're not trading more goods and services across borders, and this is actually coming from MSN Money, and the headline, which is what caught my notice. Little notice fact about trade. It's not rising. That's right. The constant flow of goods from Asia to the U.S. was briefly interrupted last month after Hanjin, the South Korean shipping line, filed for bankruptcy, stranding several dozens of its cargo ships on the high seas. It was a moment that made literal the stagnation of globalization. The growth of trade among nations is among the most consequential and controversial economic developments of recent decades, yet despite the noisy debates which have reached new heights during this presidential campaign, it is a little notice fact that trade is not rising. The volume of global trade was flat for the first quarter of 2016, then fell nearly a full % in the second quarter, according to statisticians in the Netherlands, which happen to keep the best data on such things. So, I don't know, maybe the Chinese and the Russians are affecting the world global trade, and because they're against globalization, by the way. I mean, as far as they're not against global trade. They're just against centralized globalized government, which I don't blame them, because Americans are too, even though the Democrats and people in our government are for globalization. Most Americans are not for globalization. Which, again, I have to ask, well, if you're against certain things, why the hell do you vote for people who would actively do things against what you want? You don't want globalization, so you elect people who want globalization. You don't want free trade, so you elect people that want free trade. You don't want open borders, but you elect people who want open borders. It doesn't make any... I don't get it. I'm racking my brain trying to get all this stuff, and I just don't get it. You get poll after poll, even from the liberal media, how Americans are a lot more conservative than our politicians are. And yet we keep electing the liberal politicians that actively seek to do things that we as a nation, generally speaking, as a people, do not want. We want the borders controlled, yet we elect people who don't want to control the borders. Really? Then what the hell are we complaining about? Why are we complaining that the borders are open? Why are we complaining that jobs are moving to Mexico and to China because of globalization and free trade? Why? We say we don't want this stuff, but then we elect these people that's what they always wanted and what they work for. So and then we want to complain that our politicians don't listen to us. Well, hello. they're not going to listen to you. Not until you stop electing them. You keep electing them, and no matter what you may say in a poll, they're going to think that that's what you want. And they're going to still, and you can say, well, I don't want this. And they're going to say, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you mean. What you really mean is that you really want what I'm offering. You like the smell of what I'm cooking. So I'm going to keep cooking it. And then once I'm finished, I'm going to shove it down your throat, and you're going to like the taste. And you can keep saying you don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it, but you keep electing the same shit. It's kind of like you don't like the way McDonald's makes their burgers. But you keep going and buying McDonald's burgers. Well, that's the same thing. You don't like the way the politicians that you elect are acting towards you and the way they're running the country, but you keep electing them. So some of this stuff I just don't have a lot of, I guess you could say I don't have a lot of sympathy for, but, I got to live here too. So, yeah. Hang in there, folks. We're not done yet. We'll be right back.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. That this is a repeat. Some people are getting the same feeling that they got back in 1980. Yeah, so 2016 is 1980 all over again for some people. Hopefully that feeling that they're getting will be absolutely factual come November the 9th. But in any case, welcome back to hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show, because I am coming to you live from my bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. And this is where the truth hammer, the hammer of truth, good old L-Rod, broadcasts from. Phone number is 603-835-3226. Again, that's 603-835-3226. Yes, Pat Cadell was out there over the weekend, I guess, on the wonderful pundit shows Sunday morning. You know, the shows that nobody watches. Even I don't even watch those things. Oh, who watches those? You know who watches those stupid Sunday morning pundit shows? Other pundits. They're the only people. Nobody else is watching them. I mean, they got some of the lowest ratings in television history on those Sunday morning shows. like Meet the Depressed and, well, it's Meet the Press actually, but Meet the Press and Sunday Morning and That Morning and, Later Sunday and all that kind of, what a waste of airtime. But they won't change them. They won't go away because everything is so erudite. And these are such smart people that come on these Sunday morning shows that nobody watches, by the way. But I guess Goodell made the rounds, and he's out there saying, this kind of feels like 1980. See, back in 1980, 79-80, when it was Carter versus Reagan for the presidency back then, the media had Carter up by as much as 7 to 9 points. Going into the election. Carter was supposed to win. He was supposed to win, come away hands down over, because the national polls had him up 9 points. And like I tell you people, stop paying attention to these stupid national polls that sometimes have Hillary up as, there's still a poll this morning that's got Hillary up on a national poll by 11 points. Like, are you kidding me? It's irrelevant. We don't elect a president on a national scale. We elect a president just like we elect our senators on a state-by-state basis. It's called the Electoral College. It's a state-by-state basis, so it doesn't really matter if you're up in the polls on a national level. What really counts is are you up on the count of reaching 270 electoral votes to become president? That's what counts. You can only get to 270 on a state-by-state basis. You don't get there on a national poll basis. You don't get there on a popular vote basis. You get there on a state-by-state basis. So you got to look at 50 separate polls. Those are the polls that count. And this is what they did back then, is they took these national polls and they said, well, Jimmy Carter's ahead. Jimmy Carter's going to win. Yay, yay, yay. Jimmy Carter's going to win. The actor's going to lose. And then they got the shock of their life when they found out that things were totally different. Now, according to Pat Goodell, the internal polling data suggested that Carter was going to, they knew before the media knew, or before the media, mainstream media back then accepted it. They knew that Carter was most likely going to lose. They knew. And this is what Pat Goodell, as he said, this is feeling like 1980 all over again. Everybody's euphoric about Clinton being on top in the national polls and in certain state polls, and she's up by 6 points in this state and 11 points nationally and all this. It kind of feels like 1980. Well, if Pat Goodell is out there running around saying this feels like 1980, it's just what I have been telling you for the past month. The internal polling from both campaigns is telling and painting an entirely different picture. This is why some of the more accurate pundits who've been more accurate, who've been the most successful at predicting the winners over the past few elections, 3, 4, or 5 elections, they're out there saying that Trump is pretty much going to be it. Everybody's looking for all these little signs, from who won what game in the NFL to when these two teams meet and when this team wins, it means that the Democrat wins, and if this team wins, it means the Republican is going to win, and this time it means the Republican's going to win, and they're all crying because they're trying all these stupid little ways to try to figure out how to make it seem like Hillary's winning. And Hillary's going to win. And every time they come up with these stupid little indicators that show that who's going to win, they think it's going to be a Democrat. It ends up being the Republican. I hope that this is a fantastic omen. I hope all this stuff is just fantastical omen stuff. And Trump comes out on top. But I'm telling you to be prepared for all the voter fraud that is going to go on to try to make sure that Trump does it. Because every indication right now, when it comes to the internal polling and all these superstitious little things and polls and indicators are pointing towards a Trump win. I'm telling you that. This is what I am seeing it, folks. It lifts my heart, but again, it ain't over till it's over. So there's no You know, my only fear is that people now will think, well, yeah, Donald's got it in the bag, so I don't got to worry about it so much. No, that's not the case at all. It has to be an overwhelming victory in order to overcome what we know is going, in some states, is going to be overwhelming cheating. In fact, I have it in the paper pile. Right here, there's a story. Virginia, where Clinton is supposedly up by 6 points, prepares for massive voter fraud. Well, if you know you're going to get voter fraud, why don't you do something before it happens? Because you know you can't change anything after it happens and after the vote takes place. Do you folks, yeah, there's going to be all this voter fraud that's going to happen. Well, do you realize there's nothing you can do after it takes place? How you can't run around and start disqualifying votes because you don't know who they're voting for. I mean, you can tell if somebody who shouldn't vote has voted, but you don't know who or what they voted for. So you can't disqualify some votes that way. And this is why I don't, if I say go out there and, and take pictures of the fraud that you see, but you need to tell somebody before it happens or while it's happening, because if you wait till after the fact, there's nothing that can be done. The way our system of jurisprudence works, there's nothing to be done. The person who probably shouldn't be elected is going to be elected, and they're not going to have a recall. They're not going to have a new vote or anything like that. It's just going to stand. And, so that's what people just don't seem to get. You've got to stop it in its tracks, either while it's happening or before it happens. If you wait till after the fact, nothing is going to happen and nothing's going to change. And if the wrong person gets elected because the vote is fraudulent, that person is going to stay in office unless they can absolutely prove beyond a reasonable doubt, 100%, that they shouldn't be in office. Because otherwise, they're staying. Otherwise, they're staying in office, plain and simple. That's the way it's always been. And that's not going to change. So if you're feeling like Pat Caddell and thinking that maybe, possibly, this could be a repeat of 1980, then good on you. Good for you. Make sure it happens. You don't got to go out there and cheat. Just make sure that everything is fair, on the up and up, and everything is copacetic. I know another big word for you millennials. Go look that up, but don't look it up on Google. Remember, you got to look it up on Bing or something. I know somebody's probably asking, well, how do you spell copacetic? That's how you spell it. How? Copacetic. Well, how do you spell it? Just like copacetic. That's what you spell it, just like you spell copacetic, because that's what copacetic is. I know millennials are not going to get that at all. I know they're not, but they'll. Some of them will try. Some of them will try. Speaking of voter fraud, there's a fraud in the state capital of the state of Ohio. And look, I know that Kasich is John Kasich is a highly regarded, highly respected political operative in the state of Ohio. I mean, the people of Ohio, for whatever reason, they love Kasich. They also like Trump very much, which is kind of weird because Kasich doesn't like Trump. Doesn't like him at all. But the people like Trump and the people like Kasich, but Kasich doesn't like Trump. And in this particular case, in one, this is from Politico, is reporting that there's a report out there that Kasich voted for president. Who Kasich voted for president? He wrote in John McCain. I don't, for the love of all that is decent, good, and holy in the world, why would you do such a feeble thing? That's a vote for Hillary Clinton. I don't understand well, I'm sure he's making it known that that's what he did. That's why we know. If this report is accurate, that's why we know, because he and his team leaked this. But why would you do that if nobody's supposed to really know who you're voting for? How is that making you feel better? If you're planning on, I want to know if you're planning on writing in somebody's name for any election. I don't care. It doesn't not just for president, but any. Maybe it's local dog catcher, and the person that you want is not running or is not in the running, and you're going to write their name in. Why do you do that? You know that person is obviously 99.9% of the time is not going to win. Nobody wins a campaign or wins an elected office by a write-in campaign. It's so rare. So why would you do that? Why do you do that? What is the big why? I'm just trying to figure out why people would do knowing that if they do that, then the vote that they're casting their vote for the person who ends up winning. That's the same thing. If you got candidate A and candidate B, but you write in candidate C, but then candidate A wins, well, that C is a vote for A. That write-in vote for C is a vote for A, because I don't know. Maybe you probably, if C wasn't on your mind, would you have voted for candidate B? That's what most likely happens. So if all those people decide who didn't vote or didn't write in a candidate C, but did vote for B, then B most likely would have won. That's happened in the past. So just be aware of this, folks. John Kasich, one final shot at his former primary rival, Donald Trump. Ohio Governor John Kasich, according to Politico, wrote in Arizona Senator John McCain for president on his ballot. According to a Cleveland.com report on Monday, Chris Schrimpf, SCHRIMPF, the governor's political spokesman, confirmed that Kasich cast his ballot for the 2008 Republican nominee, even though he's not an official write-in candidate for president in Ohio. What's an official write-in candidate? You have to be officially. Schrimpf stated that Kasich voted for Republicans on the rest of his absentee ballot, but he didn't vote for, I guess McCain is not a Republican. Look, I'm not making this stuff up. This is Politico's reporting this, folks. It's Politico. It's accurate, right? Of course it is. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
Six 603-835-3226 is the number to call should you wish to join me here live here on the Rod Eccles Show. I don't understand why you would write in a candidate. I mean, this whole notion that you're standing for principle. Well, I gotta ask, what principle is it if the wrong person gets elected because you're acting like an idiot or a moron? What principles are you standing on then? Well, that is that is the way it works. Hey, here's something that's kind of interesting, hot off of hotair.com. It's about Trump. No, not Brian Trump out in Oregon, Portland, Oregon. Although he's still being harangued and harassed because his last name is Trump. But he's not related to Donald Trump, evidently. Still, he's claiming he's not related to Donald J. Trump. And he's probably accurate in that. I mean, just because you have the same last name doesn't mean that you're related to people. And remember, and if I'm not correct, I think the historical pronunciation of Trump is not Trump, it's Drumpf. I think the German name is Drumpf. I don't know if Brian Trump, if his family name is Drumpf, which they may be related going way back. Who knows? He might be like Brian Trump might be Donald Trump's like fifth cousin, 4 times removed or something like that. I don't know how they figure all that stuff out. I don't even know what that means. He's my second cousin or third cousin, twice removed. I have no idea what that twice removed thing means. I don't understand how I understand how the first and second and third cousin stuff works. I just don't understand how this, once or twice or 3 times removed thing works. Because if you're going that way, then of course you go back far enough, eventually we're all related, right? Seriously. At some point, it's just I guess the entire human race is built on incest. We're of the same family. Well, it's kind of accurate and true if you think about it in terms of how humanity actually works and where we came from, either from an evolutionary standpoint or a creationist standpoint. We come from the same few people, so the same family, basically. But here's an 11th hour surprise in New York. The New York Times, the venerable, once lauded and touted and revered New York Times, has just accused Donald Trump. I'm not making this up. Just accused Donald Trump of following tax laws. Yes, folks, the New York Times has just proudly acknowledged that, because Donald Trump proudly acknowledges he didn't pay a single dime in federal income taxes for years, and he insists he merely exploited tax loopholes, no such thing as a loophole, legally available to any person. Loopholes, he says, that Hillary Clinton failed to close during her years in the United States Senate. Why didn't she ever try to change those laws so I couldn't use them? So, newly obtained documents show that in the early 1990s, as he scrambled to stave off financial ruin, Mr. Trump avoided reporting hundreds of millions of dollars in taxable income by using a tax avoidance is illegal maneuver so legally dubious his own lawyers advised him that the Internal Revenue Service would likely declare it improper if he were audited. He got audited. They didn't declare it improper. And so they're saying, so Mr. Trump, by doing what he did, basically used the tax laws to his advantage. Shameful, Mr. Trump, that you would legally use the tax laws to your advantage. Don't you know that you're not supposed to take advantage of the tax laws? You're supposed to not follow the law and pay more in taxes. No, Mr. Trump, use the tax code to his advantage, where he then paid very little to no federal income tax. New York Times just admitted it.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other For our nation. For us all. The few. The proud. The Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Once I dreamt of chasing rainbows and lightning across the sky. Once I had a crazy thought, this thought was you and I. Late at night when darkness falls, I lay down in my bed and wait to let this fantasy of you inside my head. I always seem to be dreaming. Seem to be dreaming of painted skies and butterflies, the Milky Way above.
Are you dreaming of a Trump presidency? Well, I'm dreaming of one. Just in case you aren't. I'll dream for us both. How's that? 603-835-3226. He's got, well, we'll find out in about a week if that dream will come true or not. I get people ask me, how can you possibly support Donald Trump? He is like the worst candidate we could possibly have. Like, well, that may be true. But he's the candidate nonetheless. And the candidate that is opposite him on the Democratic ticket is far worse than he is. So at any time, I know people don't, they don't like to hold their nose when they go to vote because they've had to do it for McCain and they had to do it for Romney. Well, obviously not enough people did it for either one of those two because they didn't win. Obama beat them both. But look, as bad as people may say Donald Trump is, as bad as some people say that he is, understand that Hillary Clinton is far worse. Far, far, far worse. I mean, the corruption is so pervasive on the Clinton. It's just I don't even know. The corruption that comes across in the Clintons, Richard Nixon, President Nixon, is rolling in his grave thinking, I never even thought of being that corrupt. I was corrupt by accident, actually, on this whole thing. I could never possibly be that corrupt. So even past presidents and lawmakers that were that were corrupt and were even caught at being corrupt are scratching their heads at how they were punished, and these two people called Bill and Hillary Clinton get away with being a lot worse than any of them ever thought about being. I am sure Martha Stewart is sitting in one of her mansions somewhere on a daily basis, asking the question, how did I go to jail for just telling one lie? And it wasn't even a complete bald-faced lie. I mean, it was... Yeah, I mean, if you follow the Martha Stewart trial, I mean, there was some nuance of truth to what she said, but she still lied. In the end, they said that she lied, and she went to jail, and she's probably scratching her, her pretty little former model head and thinking, how is it I went to jail for a year for telling one falsehood, and these people tell them over and over and over again, and they get away with it? How is it that General Petraeus, has to leave the military in disgrace, but the Clintons keep going and possibly can get back in the White House? I don't understand any of that myself. A lot of people don't understand. I just don't understand it. I don't know how so many other people who've done what the Clintons have done have gone to jail, and the Clintons do not. In fact, we're not even allowed to investigate the Clintons. That's how above the law they are. You're not supposed to investigate. If you investigate the Clintons, all that is just, you're playing politics and you're playing political games. It has nothing to do with, actually wanting to get to the truth and get to the bottom and see if a crime was committed or not. No, you're automatically playing into the vast right-wing conspiracy. Really? Well, I guess this is also part of the vast right-wing conspiracy. From the dailymail.co.uk, as we all know, CNN cuts all ties with Democratic Party chief Donna Brazile. Why was she even still part? She's the acting chair of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. Why the hell is she still on your payroll? But in any case, Clinton News Network finally cuts all ties with Democratic Party chief Donna Brazile after hack emails show that she leaked a second debate question to Hillary's campaign. No, I guess it's okay. Well, if you just leaked one question for her to cheat, then that's okay. But now you leaked. We find out you leaked two. The second one, that's gone too far. Really? Is this what CNN is trying to cover up and say? One is okay, but two is not. Really? Interim Democratic Party chairwoman Donna Brazile no longer has a job as a paid commentator on CNN. She shouldn't even have been there in the first place. She's a Democratic National Committee chairperson. WikiLeaks has published an email showing she leaked a CNN Democratic primary debate question to senior Hillary Clinton aides a day in advance. So the question about lead poisoning in the Flint, Michigan water supply was asked in the debate where Clinton squared off against Bernie Sanders. Brazile also wrote one of the Clinton staffers with a death penalty question from a CNN-hosted town hall 1 day ahead of time. Yes, from time to time I get the question in advance, later claiming Russian hackers had set her up. Oh yeah, I get I passed the question, ahead of time on to Hillary's camp, but it's the fault of Russian hackers. They set me up. Well, either you sent the question over, you gave them the information ahead of time, or you didn't. Russians had nothing to do with it. They didn't. Maybe Russian hackers are responsible for the WikiLeaks, but they didn't force you to do any of that stuff that you did and then record it in your emails for them to later hack and release, did they? No, they. I love it how they always blame somebody else for their mistakes. They're the ones that blundered. They're the ones that broke the law, broke the rules, broke the regulations. They're the ones who did all of this breaking of stuff, of confidentiality. They're the ones who break the public trust. And nobody's twisting their arm to do it. They freely and willingly do it. But then they come back after they're caught and say, hey, it was those Russians that set me up. They hacked my emails. Now, CNN now says that we are completely uncomfortable with what we have learned about her interactions with the Clinton campaign. Oh, now that it's learned that she's given them a second question, now they're completely uncomfortable. Oh, they were comfortable with, well, yeah, she gave them one question, Rod. Yeah, it was only one. It's okay. Oh, they allowed her to cheat just once. But two questions. No, that's a pattern. We're uncomfortable with that now. We're uncomfortable with cheating twice. Cheating once is okay. That's fair. But now they're uncomfortable. Are you people actually paying attention to what the media is saying? First of all, they have the chairman of the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, the Democrats, the chairman of the Democrat Party, basically, is being paid to be a commentary on CNN. CNN. Cable news network. I know it's Clinton News Network all the time, but they've always feigned this false narrative and fake reality that they're not in anyone's corner, that they're fair and balanced. They're middle of the road. We know for, CNN that's not true, but that's the way they try to portray themselves on a regular basis. And yet, while they're trying to portray themselves like that on a regular basis, they actually went out and hired and paid a head honcho Democrat to be one of their commentators. I'm not a part of any party. Why don't you pay me? Well, it's because I'll give the accurate truth. That's why. They don't want that. They want some left-wing zealot information put out there, propaganda on a daily basis. I'm not. What's the you remember the old saying from In Living Color, Homie the Clown? Homie don't play that. By the way, is Homie the Clown? Homie the Clown is not a creepy clown, is he? Well, I'm happy to say I have not seen any reports of any clown shootings from the weekend. Just saying. And no, I'm not talking about the Democrats. Some people are saying, yeah, we didn't see any Democrats out there either during Halloween. Yeah, well, I'm sure they were out there. And if you were a smart parent, you taught your kid about Democratic taxes. Yeah, hey, you still got time if you haven't. Go to your kid right now. Well, no, your kid's probably in school. So when your kid comes home from school, tell them to go get their candy basket. Tell them to get the candy. Say, you've already checked it, and all of it's probably safe for them to eat that they have left in their basket. So tell them to go get it. And dump it out on the floor. And say, okay, I'm about to tax you. I'm going to take 1/3 of your stash here. Just take them out. Just take out 1/3. And the kid's going to say, well, what are you going to do with that, Mommy, Daddy? What are you going to do with that? And you're going to tell them the truth. You're going to say, I'm going to give it to somebody who didn't go trick-or-treating. You want to watch that kid look at you in horror? Thinking, what are you talking about? Well, you have to share what you earn. And, this person over here, they didn't go out trick-or-treating. So they didn't get any candy. And you've got to give them some of yours. And that kid's probably going to think, what are you, crazy? I'm not giving up my stash to somebody who else was too lazy to go out there. I'm the one that went out there and worked for this and got this free candy. Why would you give it to somebody else, Mommy, Daddy? Why would you give my candy away? See, that's the cost of doing business and taxes. Because, they couldn't go out for whatever reason. They didn't go out. Maybe they didn't want to, but they didn't go out trick-or-treating like you did. But they need candy. And your kid is going to say, but let them go out and get their own candy. But you're going to teach them the democratic lesson that that's what you do. In a civilized society, you let the government take from you and give it to somebody else who does not produce. Just saying. So that would be a painful lesson for your little one. They'll get the picture really darn quick too. If you think the kids don't understand, what that kind of stuff would mean to them, you better think again, because they understand fair sharing. They understand that. What they don't understand is you confiscating stuff from them and giving it to somebody else. Most kids, if you teach them the concept of sharing, they'll get along and they'll share. But most kids also, they don't put up with very easily about having stuff stolen from them and then given to somebody else who has nothing in common with them. So in other words, they're not a family member, it's not little sister, little brother, what have you. But you're just going to give their candy away to some stranger stranger to them, who didn't go out trick-or-treating when they could have, but they didn't. They didn't go out trick-or-treating. Your kid went out trick-or-treating, and he brought a haul of candy home that he knew that stash was going to last him until like February for Valentine's Day, and you're taking away his stash. So now it doesn't get to last until February. He's lucky if it's going to last him through till Christmas. And he doesn't think, your child doesn't think it's fair. And it's not. It's not fair. Not at all. But happy post-Halloween, kids. Now comes Halloween tax day. I'm serious. You should play this little experiment game with your kids and see what. Now you're going to get some kids that are going to say, okay, they're going to just go along to get along. But most are going to freak out. Most kids are going to freak out on this. They're going to say, that's not right and that's not fair. No, it's not. Just like it's not fair for a news organization to be hiring and paying someone who's on the other side. I don't see them hiring a bunch of Republicans from the RNC. Where's Reince Priebus? Shouldn't he be on the other side, being a paid contributor and commentator? But he's not. Did I get that right? I don't know how you pronounce his name. Is it Reince or Reince Priebus? I've heard it both. I've never heard him pronounce it. I've heard all kinds of other people pronounce it all kinds of different ways. So I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce his name. But he needs to do it and set the record straight. Hey, Mr. Priebus, why don't you just say your first name, pronounce it for everybody, and just set the record straight? I mean, seriously, this is getting ridiculous. Still can't pronounce the man's name. It's terrible. How would you like to not, have your name mispronounced all the time? It's not fair. It's not nice. Well, it is what it is. Hey, folks, if you haven't gotten your copy of my current book, The Conservative Ecclesiastes, then you should go to Amazon.com right now and get your copy. It costs less than a cup of coffee in most places in the country. Most places in the world, it costs less than a cup of coffee. It's a quick read. It was rated as a top-rated quick read in the quick read category at Amazon.com. It was a bestseller in that category. So go over there and get it. The Conservative Ecclesiastes. It's available as a Kindle download over on Amazon.com. You won't be sorry. You can also give it as a gift to your favorite liberal friend. Even liberals cannot argue with the wit and wisdom that is in this book. The Conservative Ecclesiastes, available on Amazon.com. Just go to Amazon, search for author Rod Eccles. See how easy it is to find me again on Amazon? Everywhere else. Just search over there for Rod Eccles and get my book, The Conservative Ecclesiastes. A quick read that you will thoroughly enjoy. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on The Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
It started with a knock, but it wouldn't end there. What happens in the story next, many wouldn't understand, and most wouldn't believe. 5 + 2 = Perfection by Samuel Rosette Jr. is a must-read. The scriptures within are reminders of the ancient past, and yet intriguingly infuses with texts which stand on the edge of the stage of relevancy. Available online at Westbow Press, Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, and SamuelRosetteJr.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
You know, one of the last things that people really expect is government getting more and more into our lives. I know we like to say that we expect it, but we really don't. Now government is warning that smartphones and tablets disrupt your sleep, even if they are off. If they are in your bedroom, your tablet or your smartphone or your smart device is interrupting your sleep, and you're not getting the kind of sleep that you should be getting for, a healthy lifestyle. So they're I'm sure they're. How are you going to regulate people not having their smart device in their bedroom? You could force these things to turn off, but if they're telling you that even if they're off, they're disrupting your sleep, I don't know. They're going to try to stop all these brainwave stuff things from happening, but isn't that what people are accusing the government of using in the first place, is all this brainwave stuff to try to hack your brain? Maybe that explains why so many people follow the Clintons and follow Obama, is because their brains have been hacked. Is that the case? I don't know. Is that truly the case? People's brains have been hacked? Well, I suppose we'll find out one day the truth about all this hacking and stuff. I wouldn't be surprised if the Russians are not behind it, but if some Democratic operative is actually the one behind all of the email hacking. Because even there are some good people on the Democratic side that are tired of the Clintons. I am sure that is the case. So, it is what it is, folks. And the reality of it is that we've come to the end of another wonderful and spectacular show as hosted by yours truly, me. And we will be back here tomorrow, 21 hours from now. I know all of you millennials are going to be racking your brains about that mathematical probability. But 21 hours, we'll be back. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, the rest of your November 1st. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.